My name is Erin Stevens, corporate recruiter for Master Brand Cabinets, and I'm next on the Rec Tech Podcast.
Welcome to Rec Tech, the podcast where recruiting and technology intersect. Each month, you'll hear from vendors shaping the recruiting world, along with recruiters who'll tell you how they use technology to hire talent. Now, here's your host, the mad scientist of online recruiting, Chris Russell.
Yes, indeed. It's time once again for Rec Tech, the only podcast that helps employers and recruiters connect with more candidates through technology-inspired conversations. Today's show is a recruiter edition. Hey, this episode of Rec Tech is sponsored by the team at Lever, providing a modern take on the applicant tracking system. Lever combines ATS and CRM functionality in a single powerful platform to help you source, nurture, and manage your candidates all in one place. They offer a branded job site, custom sourcing tools, great metrics, email and calendar integration, along with a host of other benefits that your recruiting team will love to use. And best of all, their deceptively simple interface means that hiring managers and applicants will also love it. To find out how Lever can help you both accelerate and humanize hiring, visit lever.co/rectech. That's lever.co, not .com, /rectech, RECTECH. Lever is where ATS meets CRM. All right, on to our guest. Erin Stevens from, I think, Jasper, Indiana, if I got it right. Welcome to Rec Tech.
Hello. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Well, it's good to have you here. We spoke to your cohort, Tiffany Keel, yesterday.
Yes.
I think you should.
I see you learned how to pronounce. I see you learned how to pronounce her last name correctly.
Now I do. Yes. I was always calling her Cool for some reason.
Oh, she is cool, so it works out.
That's what I said. I was just thinking you should make a bet with her to see who gets the most downloads in the first week.
Oh, yeah. It'll be me. It's always me.
Okay. The gauntlet has been thrown.
The gauntlet is thrown. I will make sure to text her later and be like, you better get your social media posse on that.
She's already up to like 80 already, I think, so.
Oh, well. We'll see.
All right. Well, thanks for coming again, and let's talk about your recruiting. So first of all, you recruit from home, correct? You're remote, right?
Yeah. So you mentioned Jasper. So our corporate offices are in Jasper, and that's where I'm technically based out of, as far as what it says on paper. But I live in the Louisville, Kentucky area. So I live right across from Louisville in good old Jeffersonville, Indiana. And I work remotely, which is kind of cool. It kind of fell into my lap, sort of. Mm-hmm. So I guess a little more about my background. So I started in nonprofit. Actually, as my mom likes to say, I wanted to sing my way into the hearts and minds of millions. So I started in college as a music major and was singing not professionally, but get on my way to sing professionally. And it just wasn't fun anymore. So psychology and HR was my backup plan. So I'm in the backup plan. And I was lucky enough to graduate at the height of the recession in 2009. And I remember just interviewing. Oh, I know. I remember my econ class, my economics teacher was like, who's graduating this semester? And I was like, me. And she's like, bless you, child. Like, great. Yeah. So I got my first job after lots of networking. I actually took the PHR certification class at my college, and the consultant who was doing the class, teaching the class, actually was a consultant for my first role. She recommended me and said, hey, there's this girl, I think she's got a big mouth on her, but she might be a good recruiter. So got hired into nonprofit and basically kind of learned recruiting from there on up. Worked in nonprofit for about 5 or 6 years. Did about a year third-party recruiting, which that was exciting. And then Master Brand recruited me off LinkedIn, and I was like, sure, I would love, the chance to get into a large company, because I'd only worked for very small roles, was exciting. And I said, I'd be willing to drive up, because Jasper is about an hour and 20 minutes from where I live. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'd be willing to drive 2 or 3 days a week, if, maybe work remotely the rest. And at the time of offer, my boss at the time was like, just come up once a week for a little while and work remotely the rest. And I've been doing that for like 3 years in April, and it's been a blast so far.
Nice. Very good. Good story. Let's talk about the remote part aspect first. Sure. Are other recruiters there working remotely as well, or are you the only one? Or
Well, I'm the only one that's like full-time remote. We have a team of, I believe, 4 of us. It's myself, and then I have 3 other corporate recruiters I work with, each of us handling different customer groups. So when I started, my customer groups were all field-based, so it made sense for me to be remote. So I did like our retail and sales groups, and I helped out with we have 20-plus manufacturing plants across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, and I help and assist our HR managers in the field with any type of recruiting or sourcing. And so it made sense being remote. I could go anywhere, and I'm pretty centrally based here in the Midwest. Our other 2 recruiters, 2 of them are based at our corporate office in Jasper, and then the third one is based at one of our satellite offices in Deerfield, Illinois, which is north of Chicago. But we all have kind of the option of working. We're very lucky in the fact that Masterburn has been very flexible with us. If we have a sick child, which I don't have children, but if I had a sick child, I could stay home. For me, it's like a sick cat or dog, I guess. But if they have sick kids, our boss allows us to work remotely. We're able to kind of, flex our schedule as needed, and it's been really nice. And so, the other 2 at our corporate office, if they need to work from home, that's definitely doable and, is definitely welcome.
Yeah, well, I think recruiting itself really is germane to being remote anyway. I think it's an easy job to do remotely, right? So, okay.
Right.
Tell me about some of the tools you use to kind of stay in touch with your either colleagues. I mean, like what do you use for chat, for example? Do you have a chat program?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm set up. I have my home office, and so I have obviously a laptop and a nice big screen because I like to have multiple screens. If I could have a third screen, I would totally do it.
Yeah, 2 now.
And then I only have 2 now. I have a smaller one, and then I have like my big one.
Gotcha.
But we use, obviously, email, of course. And then we also use Skype, which used to be, I think, called Link, and they changed it. And then we've also recently been really using Zoom. Have you ever heard of Zoom?
Yeah, it's a video conferencing tool. I think it's free, too, right?
Well, yes. So you can do free. You can get a pro version, and you can do other types as well. We have. I'm assuming we pay for us since we're a large manufacturer. But yeah, we use Zoom a lot for our team meetings. That has really helped, especially with me being remote and Sean, who's our other corporate recruiter in Deerfield, so that we can all see each other and connect, which is really nice.
How often do you do that?
Oh gosh, well we have our team meetings, so we're probably seeing each other at least once a week, or maybe every other week. I know that I've been using it quite a bit. I've been starting to use it more, and really kind of culturally shifting my customer service groups to use it as opposed to bringing in a candidate on site, because it's very tough. Obviously, Jasper is an hour and 20 minutes outside of Louisville. So we're either bringing an individual into the Louisville airport or the Evansville, Indiana airport. And then they have to drive another hour to get to Jasper. And so depending on where they're coming from, there's no direct flights, so it's definitely bringing a candidate on site is not only costly, but it takes up a lot of time. So I've been really kind of pushing them to only bring final candidates on site if need be.
Right. So do you use Zoom to actually interview the candidates as well?
Yes. So we have Zoom rooms. So not only do I have a Zoom account for myself that I can log into, and it's literally just sending an individual a link. I've also been telling my candidates to download the app because it's so easy to use on your phone or an iPad or Android. You just download. Oh yeah, you just download the app and you type in like the meeting ID number, and then it just pops up. It's really nifty. So I've been doing that. We have rooms set up. So, hiring managers are fun sometimes. They're like, how do I set up this video interview? I'm like, literally all you do is walk in the room and hit start meeting. I'm like, I've taken care of the rest.
Press the start button.
Has the right. Right, press the start button, and the candidate, I promise, will pop up. And they're like, okay. It's still, they're still kind of missing a little bit of that personal essence. And also, I try my best to prep the candidate, too, on this is what it's going to look like. Maybe, don't necessarily log in before, but, look at yourself on your camera reverse-wise and make sure you look presentable, have a stand, Yeah. So there is some prepping that goes into that. But it's been really great. I mean, we got all of our accounting interns interviewed and completed and offers out to them before December of last year for the summer. Nice. And we did nothing but video interviewing, and it worked great because obviously those kids are in college. It's hard for them to get away. They still have classes. They maybe don't have a car or have money to drive, to meet us in person. So it worked out super well. Yep. And luckily my managers were very open to doing it that way.
Just give us a quick background on Master Brand itself in terms of your hiring needs. What do you hire for? I think you have some manufacturing in there, right? Tell us about that quickly.
Gosh, yes. So Master Brand as a whole, so we have about 20 plus manufacturing sites. We manufacture kitchen cabinets, from stock cabinets all the way up to custom cabinets. So we have a need for production associates, all the way up to, we have retail and sales, so individuals out in the field. We sell through retail customers, so like Lowe's and Home Depot. So our sales individuals are servicing those facilities and those retail outlets. We have individuals that are working with builders, so we contract with national builders to sell our products through there. So we have individuals working with those builders and contractors. We have dealers, so we have, again, our salespeople working with dealers. We also have, obviously, manufacturing plants, so production associates, supervisors, frontline supervisors are definitely something we're always recruiting for, engineers, operations leaders, continuous improvement leaders, and then all the way we have IT, of course. IT is very important. Mm-hmm. So we actually, with opening an office in Deerfield, Illinois was kind of a tactic to get more. We needed more of those tech people, and I will say one of the barriers that we work with is location, because all of our locations are in not so exciting, not very large metropolitan areas. Yeah. So opening up Deerfield was very important, and so with that, technology had to improve. So IT, I personally recruit for finance and accounting, and most of that is based at our corporate office, and then we also have positions within our plants across the country. So I could be recruiting out of Riverside, California, or Jasper, Indiana, or Louisville, or Grants Pass, Oregon. It just depends. Mm-hmm. We also have product. Product is important because we need individuals that are, creative and to continuously upgrade our product, because we're in the fashion industry. So with fashion, the cabinets of the 1960s are probably not in your kitchen today, right? So, you have to change as fashion goes. Yeah. And updates, marketing, customer service, getting stuff out there.
Hey, Erin.
And then HR.
When it comes to those rural locations, are you guys? So it must be pretty challenging in terms of finding people, right? I mean, what are you guys doing to attract those people to get them to come to those locations? Anything? Have you is it trending to something different this year? I mean, what are you guys trying to actually fill those jobs? Do you know?
So one of the things that we've actually started really working on is Facebook, because we do not have we have not really had a big social media presence. But if you think about it, like when you go into Facebook, I don't know if you have, but there are a lot of communities, even smaller communities, they'll have some sort of yard sale group or any type of just smaller groups, like swapping groups, if they have products they want to swap or whatever. But everyone seems to have Facebook or, some type of social media. Facebook seems to be the number one. So we have actually, and one of the things I have delved in, part of my, one of my objectives is to really start to see what Facebook advertising looks like. Yep. And this has really had to turn my marketing kind of head on. Who am I going to target to? And of course, within applicable laws, of course,
Right.
am I targeting a certain area? Can I pin it down to those who are already in production roles? Am I able to steal from other companies by showing them targeted ads? Diversity wise, are we aiming towards, Latinos or Hispanics or whatever? Can we focus in on those areas of where we lack? So really working with our plants, a lot of them have open interview days. So making sure that we're getting those out there and boosting those posts and getting it to show up in front of people to see if they may have an interest to come in and learn more about Master Brand. It's really interesting. I think at some point in the future, that's going to go a little more to the ways of marketing, since that's what they do on a day-to-day basis, and that's what they went to school for. Looking at that and just getting more engagement and getting that feedback is really what we've been working on. One other thing that we just implemented to get more traffic and get more engagement with our brand, because we're really working on building our brand of opportunity, purpose, and reward, is we are in the throes of college recruiting season. And so individuals who are my age or in my generation really look for companies that are, willing to give back to the company, or willing to give back to the environment and whatnot. So we are actually starting a campaign that for every like on our Facebook page, we will plant a tree. We've partnered with Arbor Day, and we're going to plant up to 2,000 trees through this activity.
Oh, that's a pretty cool.
And so obviously,
pretty cool way to build your brand.
Obviously, right? Because we use wood. Wood's like the number one ingredient in our product, so we need to, give back to the environment and make sure that we're replanting what we're taking. So I'm really excited about that initiative that's coming up. And again, it's getting them to connect with us and keeping them engaged and building that content and, getting them to be able to talk, because a lot of people don't know. Let me ask you a real question. Have you ever heard of Master Brand before today?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I did some.
Oh, good. Okay,
kitchen
great.
remodel a few years ago. So.
Oh, then that's it. Yeah, if you've remodeled a kitchen, you've probably heard of Master Brand before. But before I came to Master Brand,
your typical college graduate probably hasn't, right?
Absolutely, you're right. Yeah. No idea, because they've never redone a kitchen or even probably thought about that.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I'm an admin of some groups on Facebook. So one of those is an Indiana group. So I'll have to invite you. It's Indiana Jobs, Employment, and Hiring, it's called.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to be part of that.
Awesome. Let's move on a little bit. What's your ATS there?
We use iSIMS.
iSIMS.
Okay. And yes, iSIMS, and I really like it. Now, we just did an integration with Workday for our HRIS system, so I may not have iSIMS much longer. I don't know. That's kind of in talks. But I've used iSIMS for the last 3 years, and I'm kind of a techie person, and I really like it. Like learning, it's easy to progress candidates through. It's easy to reach out. You can really customize it. And I know in Tiffany, when in her podcast yesterday, she was talking about how with ATS systems, the more customizable you get, the tougher it is when there's an upgrade.
Yep.
I absolutely I'd have to agree with that, because if there's an upgrade, little things happen that I have to call and get help, but their help is really great. They're very attentive, and they usually can fix things in the first call. But other than that, I've really enjoyed iSIMS, and it seems to integrate with quite a few different things as well.
Yeah. Is there any particular feature on there you guys use more than others, or that you like that you want to call out?
That's a good question. I'm going to say I think it depends on the recruiter. Again, I'm very type A, so I like to keep everything very organized. I like that my managers can go in. I think that might be my favorite thing. Managers can go in and see where I'm at in the process, and it eliminates them from asking me questions.
Yep.
Erin, where are you? Have you reached out to this person? Well, if you log in, you can see I've reviewed them. I've already requested an interview with them, and or if I have scheduled an interview with them, it shows you exactly what date and time I'll be talking with that individual.
Have you applied to your own jobs?
Have I applied? Yes, and I think there's definitely room to work and improve. There's definitely opportunity to improve. One of the things that we've been talking about, I think our page actually might be going through a redesign in the next year. I'm not sure. I'm not up on that. I just know it's coming. Is I think it takes too many clicks to get to where our jobs are.
Yeah.
I have to not only go to our careers page, then I have to click opportunities, then I have to choose whether I'm not an external or an internal candidate, and then I have to search.
That's way too many. Yeah, I always tell companies, first of all, put the careers link on your corporate website homepage in both the header and the footer, number one. And then when you do click that, you should be showing them at least some of the latest jobs. There should be a search box. They can just search for jobs right there. The more you bury that search box, less clicks you get. Less conversions you're going to get. So you got to bubble all that stuff up, employers, and make it easy for the job seekers, because they're not applying in droves today. They're few and far between, right? So.
Right, and it's all about how quick you can get it done, how quick you and if you can do it on your mobile device. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is it mobile enabled?
Yep, exactly. All right. Anything else you use there? What do you use for onboarding? And maybe do you do any texting with candidates, sourcing tools?
So onboarding, we just, again, like I said, we implemented Workday. So we're going through we have Workday, we generate everything in Workday, it passes to iCIMS, and then from iCIMS we pass back to Workday. Still working through some kinks on that. It's definitely a learning curve, do we want to keep doing that? Are we going to continue using iCIMS, or are we going to go to Workday because it's just more streamlined?
Yeah.
Doing that, and then other things, onboarding. All of our onboarding is done through that as well. So again, still improving processes, but getting what we need for right now, and then fine tuning it as we go along.
Yeah.
What was the other question?
Well, iCIMS just bought Text Recruit. Do you use that at all?
So yeah, interesting. You mentioned that. So we as an organization have looked into Text Recruit, and all of that AI based stuff in general. I find very interesting. But again, I go back. I'm a bit of a control freak, so I'm not sure. I'd have to really play with it and get it to where I want. It would have to say exactly what I would want to say. But I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it. I'm not gonna lie. Makes me a little nervous. I feel like it's taking a lot of the personal out of recruiting. Interesting
you say that. I think a lot of recruiters are in the same boat in terms of they haven't used the technology yet, so they're kind of they're afraid of it yet. They're not exactly sure what it's going to do for them. So I think vendors like Text Recruit need to do a good job of the use case around it all and explaining to recruiter and working with the recruiter itself to actually implement it all, because they're you guys are busy recruiting. You're not busy learning technology every day, right? So,
right. And here's the thing. I think Text Recruit would be great for sourcers, for those who are just pure sourcing, as far as like qualifying and finding a candidate and touching those individuals. But I think once you get into the actual process of bringing them on, showing them your value proposition, that needs to be a personal experience.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers a good experience. They don't always talk about it. They talk about the bad experiences, but they don't necessarily talk about the good experiences. But when they do, it's usually very memorable. You've got to create that personal experience for someone.
Definitely. When it comes to sourcing, do you have any tools you use personally to source candidates proactively?
Ooh, I use Boolean a lot. That's I just recently went through the CIR class, and I've always been and what I joke with my friends, I'm a great stalker. They talk. They're like, that one girl who can not find anything on anyone. Yeah, that's me. All my friends who are like dating people, they'll be like, hey, listen, I just started talking to this guy. What can you find out? I'll be like, well, okay.
Sounds like a side gig you could venture out into.
It is a side gig. It really is, because I can find out anything. So good thing my husband got married before that day, before I was able to do that. So, no, but he's pretty cool. I use Google and Xlead and all, I try to do multiple string searches. If I'm really looking for a tough to fill role, I've sourced a few really good candidates from that. For me though, I get a little ADD, because you're having to look through all these links and stuff, and it's just like, I wish you would just take me right to it. I've used Hiring Solved before. It's not something that we purchased, but I've used it. I really liked it because it was organized. I have done Hire Tool before. I've used that as well. One thing I actually recently discovered, it's not necessarily sourcing, but more networking, going back to the dating thing, because I think recruiting is dating, essentially. It's kind of like dating. Bumble. Have you heard of Bumble?
Bumble, yes. Like, the dating app. But they also have a business version now, right?
Yes, and I just learned about it the other night. I was taking my sister out for her bachelorette party, and her friend, my sister is about 6 years younger than me, and her friend's younger than that. And she's like, "Oh yeah, you can do Bumble for networking." I was like, "You can?" So I felt a little weird setting up my own Bumble account. But you swipe left and right, and like you can see people's job titles, and so I'm going to use it. I'm traveling over the next couple of weeks, so I'm going to use it and see if I can find anybody in those areas and connect with them as far as like networking opportunities. It's really cool.
There's another app called there's another app like that called Shaper, which is SHAPR, that I tried earlier. I think it was last year. Very similar. Okay. You can see job titles. You could it also lets you kind of push out quotes to your business quotes to your social media and stuff. So check that out.
Oh, that's fancy.
You might like that. Well, speaking of
I was just going to say though, but you need to use something that people know.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard of Shaper, but I sure as heck have heard of Bumble. So.
Nice. Well, speaking of HireTool, they're our second sponsor on today's show.
What a great lead-in.
Yeah, and their AI engine is your personal sourcing assistant. So if you submit your sourcing task and let them, it'll do the sourcing for you while you're sleeping, Erin. So enjoy your cup of coffee and let HireTool source for you. You can build Boolean strings on the fly, displays contact info for the candidates that you find on there. Let me just read one of the reviews on Facebook that I just pulled up here.
I saw that you rated them yourself.
Yes, I did. So Ryan Bradley, who works at Chewy, says, "We use HireTool to build our entire strategic sourcing program for technology and supply chain skill sets. The accuracy of contact information provided is far beyond what other tools like Intello or Connectify are capable of producing." And lastly, he says, I think we all do business with people that we like, and the guys at HireTool are world class. And I mean, it's one of the reasons why I brought them on as a sponsor, was because I think they're just doing a great job with the industry itself in terms of promoting their tool. It's a great tool itself. I think I've tried it before, and just definitely happy to have them on board as a sponsor now. So check out HireTool at hiretool.com. It's HireTual.com. All right, Erin. Talk about, let's get into sourcing a little bit more. What's your favorite email subject line?
Oh, I think I can't just say I use one. Again, goes back to that personalization.
Yeah, what do you gravitate towards?
Well, so normally I don't know. It depends on the candidate I'm looking at and the job. I will say one of it is, ever heard of Jasper, Indiana? Because most people would be like, no, where's that? I've done that before.
Okay.
I try complimenting them, or, something that's some sort of lead in that has to do with their background, or something that I know that would get their attention. Or, hey, I saw you went to U of L, question mark. Mm-hmm. Or, something that it's almost like that, the clickbait. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
I try to be as clickbaity as possible, but then genuine within my subject matter or subject message.
Gotcha.
Okay. Hey, listen, I saw that, you used to do this, that, or the other. I have this role. Don't know if you've ever heard of us. I'm guessing not. And I try to be a little funny in there as well.
Yep.
Because the same emails, no one reads them. Hey, I have this awesome opportunity for you.
Yeah.
Would love if we could connect. No, it doesn't work that way. Did you actually read my profile? I don't think so. And I want to show that I did read their profile and that I genuinely have an interest in them.
Yeah. How are your in-mail open rates these days? Are they good? Are they decreasing? Or what are you seeing?
I don't really send in-mails.
No?
I try to find the direct email. I always go for straight email or a straight phone number. Because the in-mails, I'm not a huge fan of them, personally.
Okay.
That's not my cup of tea. If I absolutely have to have them, and I can't find anything online, or can't find their email, or can't source it out. I will do an in-mail. But normally, I don't know, it's all right. It's not great. But again, it depends on my lead-in line.
Yeah. Okay. Do HR tech vendors, do they ever try and pitch you on their products?
Every single day of my life. No. I've had 2 or 3. What's funny is going back to Hiring Solved, I'll call out my buddy Matt. I'm trying to think where I even met Matt. I usually meet them at conferences.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm that person at a conference, when you go to a conference and everyone's giving away something and basically they're like, let me have your business card so you can win this $25 gift card.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me. I will refuse to put my business card in anything. Because you're just going to get spam calls, and no offense to those sales. I know that's how they make a living, but that's not how I want to create a relationship with you. I'm more of a, hey, let's talk some business, and okay, now really tell me about your product. And Hiring Solved, I connected with Matt, and, we chatted, and he let me try it out, and we could, talk about things, and I give him, feedback. And so, I'm more of a relationship builder. So when they pitch me and they just pitch me with an email or just cold call me,
mm-hmm.
I'm not really into that.
Yeah. Okay. So you
gotta work.
Sounds like the in-person intro is a better way to reach you, right?
Right. Or connect with me on something stupid hey, what's your favorite wine to drink? Or did you watch This Is Us last night? Connect with me on something that I can relate to instead of, hey, let me just sell you my technology package and this is how it's going to make your life easier. Yeah. I'd rather do business with someone I have a relationship with than not, I guess.
Good advice. All right. Well, as we wrap this up here, a few more questions for you, Erin. Certainly appreciate the time today. Is there any piece of HR tech that you're excited about but haven't tried yet that you're looking forward to maybe trying?
So we're implementing, is it Rootly? Ruttly? Oh, yeah, Ruttly, yeah.
RUUTLY or something?
Yes. So we're getting ready to do that, and I think I'm excited to see how that's going to change
what is it?
Our position. So it helps with writing position profiles, essentially, from my understanding.
Job descriptions,
yes, I call them position profiles or job descriptions.
That's a phrase I haven't heard before.
I know, a position profile.
Yes.
It's fancy, right? It sounds really important. But yeah, I think it's supposed to, definitely help out with that. If you think about our HR managers in the field, they are not only juggling recruiting, which is can be a heavy workload, but they're doing everything else as well. So they don't get and there's only a few of us here at the corporate level, and we have our own workload. So I think the goal is to help with really, making it a engaging position profile or job description. Making people want to apply and read more. Mm-hmm. We can get creative, but getting more creative and actually creating something that's eye-catching. It also, I think, interfaces. It creates a web, some sort of website. Again, I need to look into it more. I'm kind of just hearing it from the sidelines, but it sounds exciting. It's more visually stimulating and gets to the meat of what the position really is.
Yeah, well, ping me when that's out. I'd like to take a look at it, and maybe I'll share it with some of the
Sure.
audience. Okay. What conferences are you going to this year?
Oh, I have a list. I made my list.
Yeah, where are you going to be?
I'm super excited. So I have of course, I'm very involved at my local SHRM chapter here in Southern Indiana. So we have our full-day conference in April. So I'll be attending that. And then National SHRM in good old Chi-Town with my buds, otherwise known as HR Christmas, because everyone gets together and gets to see each other.
HR Christmas?
HR Christmas. Have you ever heard that term
no,
before?
That's a new one. Another term.
Yes, HR. Think about it. It's like all these HR people in one spot for 3 or 4 days.
Yep, right.
And, we're learning and we meet each other and we see each other and we don't see each other any other time of the year normally unless we're just traveling all around. So it's HR Christmas. The HR Indiana SHRM Conference, August 20th through 22nd. And I know Mr. Steve Brown will be speaking at that as well. I'm speaking with Tiffany at the Ohio State SHRM Conference, September 19th through the 21st. And then for the first time this year, I'm a little excited. I've been asked to speak at ERE in October, doing a 10-minute TED Talk thing. So I'm kind of fleshing out what I want to do for that. Because it's not supposed to be a rant. It's supposed to be something, a good 10-minute takeaway. So interested to see what my brain comes up with.
You ever go to a Disrupt HR event? Those are 5 minutes.
I have not.
HR talks.
I know. I have heard of so many. I think and every time we have one, like the one we had here in Louisville, I was out of town. I was unable to make the one in Cincinnati. Was unable to make the one in Indianapolis. All the ones that were near me, I was either out of town or gone or doing something.
Yeah.
And it was very disappointing. But one day I will make it to one of those.
It's a good event. I think you like it. All right, last question for you. What have you learned about recruiting that you wish you knew when you first started?
Oh, gosh. That's a good question.
In other words, if you were giving advice to somebody today who's just starting out, what would you talk to them about?
People aren't as logical as you think they are. Because I'm a very logical person. 2 + 2 = 4 normally. If you give, if Sally tells you she wants $80,000 a year and you give her $80,000 a year, she's going to take it, right? No. People aren't logical. I've had many offers or many candidates that I thought were one way, and then something crazy happened and they either disappear off the planet or, they just do something totally nuts that I didn't see coming. I had one guy. I set up a great phone interview, qualified, wants to move out to an area. I set up, he was very responsive on his emails back and forth, set up his travel to go interview with the team. He did a phone interview, set up everything, flights, hotel. The day of his interview, the HR manager emails me, "Hey, Erin, Joe didn't show up." What do you mean Joe didn't show up? Joe just didn't show up. So I call our travel agency. I'm like, oh, my gosh, what happened? Maybe he's lost. I called and left him a message. He didn't answer. I called the travel agency, found out he never even got on the plane, never picked up the car. So I finally get a text message from him. He was like, oh, I was sick. Like, that was it. And I was like, okay, yeah, we're not going to reschedule.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how often that happens out there. I remember that when I was recruiting.
Right. Right. And as I've gotten, I've done this more, the more and more and this sounds awful, the more and more I'm less surprised by people's actions.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, Erin Stevens, thank you very much for joining me today. I learned a lot, and I'm going to have to come to HR Christmas, I guess. So.
Yes. You should come to HR Christmas. It will be so much fun.
All right. I'll bring some presents. Well,
oh, yeah. Make sure they're alcoholic in nature.
Okay. I'll buy you a few drinks. All right, well, tell listeners how to connect with you online and tell what your career site is too to go apply for. All
right, so you can find us at www.masterbrand.com//careers. You can find me on LinkedIn. It's Erin M. Stevens, PHR, and then that's the same for my Twitter handle at Erin M. Stevens, no PHR. Just the at Erin M. Stevens. And then you can find me on LinkedIn or on Facebook. I may not friend you on Facebook. I try to keep that one to myself. But any other social media platforms open, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, hit me up. I will answer and connect with you.
All right. Well, we'll link to you in the show notes as well. That's going to do it for this edition of the RecTech Podcast. Thanks again to our sponsors. Remember to check out lever.co/RecTech for your ATS needs and HireTool for your sourcing needs. You can subscribe to this show via iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher Radio. If you like the show, please leave a review on your channel of choice. I'd love to see your feedback or mention us on social media with the hashtag RecTech. Follow me on Twitter at Chris Russell or visit rectechmedia.com. You can find the audio and links for this show on our blog. Just a reminder, I'm a consultant that helps both HR tech firms and employers get more clients or candidates. Thanks for listening. See you next time.